Hey, it's Rob Tepper checking in from Mission Control. It is going on 2 a.m. on September 25th, and I'm going to give an update report on all of the campaigns that we're running. I just spent some time on them in the past couple of hours, so I'm going to speak about them mostly at a fairly top level. Unless there's some reason to dig in more. So let's start out with Ad Cash. With Ad Cash, these are the 3 managed campaigns, and what I've seen so far is that this landing page 2, which is the mobile media page, has gotten 0 conversions total if we look over time. And I don't quite understand that. It does seem to, oh, I take that back. It didn't get 0, but it got 6 out of 33,000, 41 out of 81,000, so it's incredibly poorly performing. But actually, this is a good page to look at. So these are the 3 managed ad cash campaigns, and this is the non-managed. I just added the 3 managed campaigns onto this. Did I add it onto here? No, I did not add the 3 managed campaigns onto here because we're not controlling them in quite the same way. But I did add them onto this summary on the Walmart campaigns, so you can see the data on the managed campaigns starting here in these 3 columns. And I just started tracking it today, which is the 24th, but I did start tracking it back to the first day. So the first day that we ran managed was on the 19th. So the total data on pages 1, 2, and 3, you can see there's the 26, and 8 is 34, and 36, 38. So it looks like that was 38, and so that's probably this one, this 38 right here. So 38, 41, and 6. What we can see overall is the CPV. The only one that we could even look at possibly lowering the CPV on is this one, but it's only averaging $2.20 per thousand. So that is not enough for us to lower our payout, and so we've got to let this run. If they're willing to run it for a little bit longer, neither one of these Android versions are any good. And that also is an indication to us, as I've shared with you a couple of times in the recent past, that iOS, while we're not running it, maybe we should be, because in this case it seems to be the most profitable, and I've seen some hints of that on a couple of the other campaigns. Going up to this one, this is the non-managed, and we haven't been running it for the last few days since we turned this on. But if you remember the ad cash non-managed, we really had one source that was responsible for most of the conversions in the early part of the month. And as we turn this back up, for whatever reason, that source is not converting any longer. So going back to the conversation that we had with Ashley, maybe that explains it. Maybe we need to try and resubmit it. We've got to figure it out. But in the meantime, I'm not doing anything while we let our traffic manager play with these campaigns. Okay, and this is just divided out the Android into 2 campaigns, whereas the iOS we lumped together both of the landers. Let's see how the 2 different landers did. So mobile media is a higher ROI, even though it is a substantially lower conversion rate. And the reason is because we had a lot lower CPV. Not sure why. I have to look into that. I think probably because I lowered the CPV. That's in the last 3 days. Just terrible. Terrible. So that gives me something to look at a little bit more closely, but there's really not enough data to make any definitive decisions, and it does seem to go back and forth between the 2 offers, which one converts better. But let's see if the trend is continuing. What we were seeing in the last time we looked at this is that over the last 7-day period, or the 3-day period, that mobile media had been terrible compared to click dealer. So here we are, the top two, and the first one is the click dealer. So click dealer has 20 percentage point better ROI, even though they're both negative. If we look at it this way, 150 times 2 is 300, so that would be 102. We've got 146 for only 258. So in the last 7 days, click dealer is way better. Now keep in mind that we're getting a low payout from click dealer. We're only getting $2.15. We're getting $2.40. So if we were able to increase this, 15 to 40 would be another 25 cents. So 25, we would have made another, it's not that much, but it would be another $37. But all in all, when you look at this, it's hard to justify continuing if we don't think that it's getting significantly better. So let's move on. That is ad cash, pretty much all I have to share on ad cash. Going on to the next source. Keeping in alphabetical order because that is the order that the register is in. Direct CPV, we should look at some point. Haven't really looked at that. I know we haven't had any conversions from it, but it has been continuing to run a very small number of visits. If we look at this from this year, the report, we probably have a fairly significant number of impressions. What do we got? Are we taking bets? Hello? No? Not that many, but clicks to visits is not bad. Total number in the whole year is so small that we haven't run enough to see any conversions, but we've barely spent any money. If we could figure out a way to ramp this up based on the number of clicks to visits, I think we have some potential, but we definitely have not done enough with that to verify. Not significant. Okay, let's talk about ExoClick. So ExoClick just got turned back on today. After running it for a day, I blacklisted 3 of the sources. You can see all of the most updated information on this campaign register. ExoClick has been added. You can see that it just started on the 24th. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. But what I've done is on these rules, I'm basically putting in all of the parameters for the individual traffic source. So it becomes very easy to update and to understand when we do make updates, how that is relative to what we started with these rules. So whether they're rules, whatever we want to call them, it works. Okay, there's the 3 sources we blacklisted after running this 9800. The good news is that we can get a fairly decent number of visits on now this is the same campaign number that we were running at the beginning of the month, so it had been paused for a while, but now what I did is I changed it to just non-adult traffic, started it back up, and we may be dealing, well, we never ran to these sources before because we weren't running to any non-adult in the past, so we have to run it for a couple more days. ExoClick is one of the sources that from the beginning of the month tends to go up. Previous days go up over time, so there's a good chance that this will become even break even for today. But let's see. It looks like it has some good potential. It's definitely worth testing. Keep in mind this is the first day of testing. Okay, my likes, I will do a separate video so that we can share just that information with the rest of our team, but we do have campaigns going. When I say the rest of our team, I mean just specifically for Julian. but just to share with you real quickly, 7 campaigns are theoretically launched. When I say theoretically, because none of them have any clicks, and when you view the campaign, what you can see is that it gives you some information as you scroll down the page. It does say no clicks yet, but this is in chronological order. As you go down the page, it's later in time. Can't see as well for this one, but the fact that it needs review, I do believe, means that it's not getting any traffic yet. And that would explain why we haven't gotten traffic yet. But we do have some good campaigns submitted. I encourage you to play around in here and see. But so far I have these 3 landers for ExoSlim and these 4 landers for our bedbug solution, and we have no traffic essentially on either one of them. So this is yesterday, and that now it's already Sunday, so that was Saturday. If we go back to Friday, you'll see the same thing. So if we look from Friday to today, you'll see that on my likes we had 9 visits on Friday. We started on Friday night, and 9 more on Saturday. Then ExoSlim, we had 5 right at the very beginning when we submitted them. They say they're approved and running, but yet we got no traffic. So I'm pretty sure that they're not completely approved, and I'm going to follow up on that tomorrow. Pop ads. Let's go to yesterday. A moment, just to look at one day at a time. So on pop ads, we've got the campaigns that have the traffic is these 2. I'm sorry, the Spanish and this one right here. So this is I'm sorry, this is Pop Cash. So yeah, pop ads, I have made multiple changes. The most recent change that I made was to go back again to all of the data from the 1st to the 7th from pop ads, and put in all of the sources that converted. But I did at that time it was both adult and non-adult, and now it's just non-adult. So what you can see is that of the sources that converted back at that time, it was very little non-adult. That being said, I do need to spend some more time figure out what is going on, if and how we can get more traffic to pop ads. This is our Spanish, tends to be profitable regularly. I added the iOS to this, and so this is running both iOS and Android right now, and it's doing, I wish we could ramp it up, but we can definitely talk about ramping it up on other sources. And this is not even our private offer, and it's not even the high payout offer. This is just $2.40, but yet we're able to make 200%. So got to do more of that. Okay, moving on to Pop Cash. Pop Cash is still not profitable. Pop Cash and Self Advertiser are very similar. We're running fairly decent number of clicks daily, but they're just performing poorly. What I can say is that for both of them, I have continued to add to the blacklist. Tonight when I went through them, neither one of them had any new targets to add to the blacklist. So that means that maybe there's more traffic going to additional targets that weren't getting traffic at all before. I can't tell you exactly what's going on, but 17 out of 33,000, terrible. And on Self-Advertiser, 5 out of 36,000 is even worse. So those we're not going to do too much more with unless we can figure out in the next couple of days why and how to fix that. And you can get all the updates from the campaign register on both of those. I have updated them tonight, but they're looking terrible. In the past, I never would have even run them for this long, but knowing what we've been able to see on the data from the 1st to the 7th of September, and not being quite as gun shy with three of us, three different sources investing. I'm just really trying to make sure that we're exhausting, doing this right and not eliminating things too quickly, continuing to check and add back in sources if I find that they started to convert in arrears. So in other words, if I blacklisted them and then I see that they're converting and look like they can be profitable, I'll take them off the blacklist. Continuously doing that. All the data, again, is on the campaign registers. All right, so I finished with Pop Cash. Really nothing needs to be said. If you look at the campaign register and you look at the data, it looks terrible. So moving on to Propeller, we have these two Propeller campaigns that are being run by our traffic manager. In both cases, poor performance. iOS is overall worse than Android in this case. Neither one's acceptable, but they should be optimizing them. They're willing to run it like this, and here it is $1.20 per thousand, 60 cents per thousand. They won't run it like this for long if things don't improve. So by Monday I need to give them some input and see if they have some ideas about how we can improve the conversion rate. We can always try adding landers back in, so let's not ignore that option, but hardly seems worth it when the numbers are so poor. All right, moving down, self-advertiser, as I mentioned, it really, everything I said about PopCash applies. I have added, there's a lot of sources on the blacklist, and everything on the whitelist still has potential, so it's worth running a little bit longer to see if we can make money with it. On Zero Park, I actually added in, after going back and reviewing the data from the 1st to the 7th, I added back in, let's see, we were just running this campaign, but I added back in this one, which we were running these two at the beginning, and then we saw that this was mobile media, this was converting better, so I paused this. But when I went back and looked closely at the data from the 1st to the 7th, this campaign did extremely well. So I turned it back on, went back through and looked at the blacklist, added it on to the campaign register. So all three of these are on the campaign register. This iOS campaign has been stopped now. I believe it's been stopped. Yeah, this is the last 7 days. So if we just look at yesterday, you'll see just the 2 Zero Park campaigns. Right. So this is the one I just turned back on, and maybe I said it wrong. So this is the one that has been running, and this was the one that was doing really well before that I turned back on. Yeah, so I said it back. I said it backwards, but it certainly doesn't show from yesterday's numbers that this is any good. But the only reason I started it is because it was definitely a nicely converting source at the beginning of the month. I believe if we look at this month, you can see it. So I just renamed it, but we'll see the Android 2. Zero Park. Where'd it go? This month. Oh, it's on the next page. So here is 1 and 3, which was 23% profitable. If we go to the next page, we've got Android 2, which, so yeah, I guess what I'm saying is this is the one that was running from the 14th on, and it was doing better, so we had paused the other one. I don't know. You can Now I'm a little confused, but I do have it captured on the campaign register. So if you look at the register, you'll see on the Zero Park, the one that I just started back up is the one that is called Android 2. Right, so yeah, that one I just started. So we're almost done, I promise. Okay, so Android 2 I just restarted, and this month looks bad, but I think in order to see what I'm talking about, we have to go back to the 1st to the 7th. So that's why I was confused, because when you look at the whole month, it doesn't tell the story that I saw earlier. Don't make me a liar. Okay, let's see. Scroll down. So where is it? Zero Park. 1-3. Here's their campaign. The 1st to the 7th, that wasn't there, so maybe I made a mistake turning that on. Well, I will double check that. I will definitely double check that. So the 1st to the 7th is this one, and if we look at yesterday, it's a 1 and 3, and 1 and 3 is the one that had that many conversions. This one was bad. There was a reason. I have to take a look at it, but you know what? For now, I'm going to pause this one until I have a chance to look at it in the morning. Okay, so now that campaign is paused, and you can see it's paused because the choice here is resume. If we go to this one, you can see that's interesting. That one, it doesn't even give me the choice. Maybe this one is on day parting at the moment. We have to get a report. But we didn't get a report for the other one. I don't know. Oh well, I will look at that as well. If we go here, we can resume that one, but we can't pause that one. I wonder why. Let's go to today. Maybe we'll see why. Today. No, we can't pause that one. Okay, so anyway, that is all of the campaigns. I wish that the data was looking better. But you can see if you look at today with everything showing that my likes has not generated any traffic yet, but many other sources are. Once again, self-advertiser looks lousy. Popcash, no conversions. Hotbed Spanish has given us a good start. Propeller ads, which one is that? Propeller ads Android has a conversion. And that is where we're at. So hope that was helpful. What I find is that doing this every day sometimes is kind of a little bit excessive when there's not that much changing. But this is about maybe 2.5 days worth of information. A lot going on. I'm continually reviewing and updating these campaigns and almost obsessed with them, but not sure what else we can do to make this Walmart campaign successful. And that's why I suggested earlier today we might want to start looking at Tesco for the UK and other offers that are similar where we can go direct to the offer. And remember, with My Likes, we've got the option as well to go direct to the offer, and we can try some CPI. We can try. I'm going to close the loop with Nathan and make him suggest a couple of different alternatives to him the last thing I'll say about that is that I was looking at some of the My Likes information, and they were giving some case studies and things, and they actually showed clients that are app companies that have had success using My Likes to get app downloads. So while Nathan wasn't clear that that he had seen that, you can investigate back here, and I found a bunch of stuff on that. I also found that we can't put our own ads if we do this as a publisher. We cannot put our own ads on our pages, but it is a very interesting approach that they have. We can learn a lot from it. But what was I saying? That I forgot. Well, it's not surprising at 2:20 a.m. But I definitely know I've seen a lot of interesting things here on My Likes, and I think it would be a good format. It's very similar to what we were talking about doing, having the top 8, the top 10, the top 20, and just having like one item per page. They are doing it in the right way, and it allows us to leverage that for, oh yeah, we were talking about doing CPI offers on here, and I was saying that somewhere on here under publishers, or maybe it was if you just go to the home page, they have a tab for case studies, and on the case studies, can you find it here? Well, you'll find it on the case studies area. You will see that they have a couple of different companies that had app downloads. I don't remember if they were specifically app companies, but I think they were companies that had an app that they were trying to promote, and they found that this was an effective way to do it. So that means that we should be able to do direct to offer ads down here. It's really a matter of having a very compelling picture and and headline that is appropriate, that when people click on it, that they will be interested. So they give us so many good ideas and options of how to do that. We definitely need to leverage that. And on that note, I will call it a night, and hopefully, again, that this is helpful. Everything that you need is between the campaign register 91416 and the volume account, which you can log into. But really, this data will tell you everything that I did. It has been extremely helpful. I'm using it across the board. I created one for the My Likes campaigns as well. So you'll see that there are 4 of them for the 4 bedbug ads, and then there's 3 of them for the 3 extra slim ads. So you can see all of the details, and your input and feedback are welcome and encouraged. Rob Tepper from Mission Control, over and out.